Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Abdulhamid Educate Health, Safety Engineering and Technology. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, comment, like, and press the bell button for notifications on our new video uploads. Today, our topic is Health and Safety Planning and Implementation. Introduction. Planning and implementation are essential for the achievement of health and safety objectives of an organization. Planning is the process by which an organization determines what has to be done, objective, and how it must be done method in order to achieve the health and safety objectives. Effective planning is concerned with prevention of accidents and occupational illness through the process of identifying, eliminating, and controlling process of hazard and risk at the workplace. Implementation is concerned with the execution of the plan. Purpose of planning to ensure compliance with, or there are some purpose of planning. One, to ensure compliance with the laws and regulations. Two, to ensure the effectiveness of the health and safety management system. Thirdly, to ensure continual improvement in the health and safety performance. There are some key steps in the planning process. One, clear definition, prioritization, and quantification of the health and safety objectives. Secondly, preparation of planned action steps for achieving each objective. Define. Thirdly, define responsibility and clear performance criteria of what is to be done by whom and when. Fourthly, the selection of measurement criteria for confirming that the objectives are achieved. Lastly, provision of adequate resources. What to do for plan or what to plan for. One, workplace precautions. Two, risk control system. And thirdly, the element of health and safety management system. Workplace precautions again. Risks are created in the business processes or process as resources and information are used to create products and services. Precautions are therefore needed at each stage of the business activity. Example of precaution are machine gas, exhaust ventilation, safety instruction or procedures, and system of work. Adequate workplace precautions have to be provided and maintained to prevent harm to people at the workplace or at the of risk. Risk control system. Risk control systems are measures that ensure that workplace precautions are implemented and kept in place. Examples include control of contractors, inspections and maintenance permit to work, and operating procedures. Organizations need to have a wide range of risk control systems which are appropriate to the hazard arising from their activities and which are sufficient to cover all hazards. Risk control system. A typical range of activity for which risk control system may be needed is shown below. Input, processes or process, output. Next. Risk control system again. At the input stage, the aim is to minimize hazard and risk entering the organization. At the process stage, the focus is on controlling risks associated with the process. Thirdly, at the output stage, the risk control system should prevent the export of risk of site or in the products or in the product and services generated by the business. Element of the health and safety management system. Policy or policy, organizing, planning and implementation, measuring performance, reviewing performance and auditing. Element of the health and safety management system. Three key questions asked when planning a health and safety management system are: where are we now? Two, where do you want to be? Three, how do we get there? Element of the health and safety management system. These are as follows. Output from the planning process. One, health and safety plan with objective for developing, maintaining, and improving the health and safety management system. Specification for the management arrangement element of the health and safety system, risk control system, and workplace precautions. Thirdly, performance standards for implementing the health and safety management system, identifying the, identifying the contribution of individuals to implementing the system. Or principles and practice of risk assessment. Risk assessment is a systematic identifying hazard or risk assessment is the systematic process of identifying hazards and evaluating the associated risks, and then implementing reasonable control measure to eliminate or control the risk to an acceptable level. Employers are legally required to ensure that suitable and sufficient risk assessments are carried out. The aim of risk assessment is to ensure that hazards are eliminated or the associated risks minimized by the correct application of the relevant standards. Forms of risk assessment. There are three forms of risk assessment. They are quantitative risk assessment, qualitative risk assessment, and generic risk assessment. Quantitative risk assessment is a formal and systematic approach to estimating the likelihood and consequences of a risk and expressing the result in terms of a numerical value. This method is used when accurate projections are required, such as in aircraft design and maintenance. Forms of risk assessment. Again, qualitative risk assessment. This method of risk assessment estimates risk in numerical terms. It evaluates using a descriptive measure which relies on the judgment and expertise of the assessor to determine the likelihood and consequence of risk. This method is suitable for the majority of risk assessment and routinely used for decision making. Forms of risk assessment again. The last type is generic risk assessment. In this method, a single of risk assessment is used to cover similar activities or equipment across different sites or departments. This method is usually used to cut down on duplication of effort and paperwork. Steps in risk assessment. There are some steps for you to follow in order to do a risk assessment. These are the key steps in risk assessment are as follows. 1. Identify or look for the hazard. 2. Identify or look for the people who might be harmed. Thirdly, evaluate the risk and decide if existing precautions are adequate or more should be done. Third and fourthly, record your findings. Lastly, review your assessment from time to time and revise if necessary. Identifying hazards. The first step in the identifying hazard, the first step in the risk assessment process is to identify all the significant hazards associated with the work. Hazards can be identified through workplace inspections, tax analysis, legislation, manufacturer information, and incident dates. An individual or group of people who may be at risk must be identified too. They include operators. These are the people who are directly involved with the activity and those working nearby. Maintenance staff. Some maintenance tasks require that certain safeguards be removed or the person performing the task enter into an unsafe zone before the task can be completed. All the people who perform such tasks must be identified. Cleaners. These are the people exposed to diverse kinds of risks. Contractors. Contractors who are impacted by a company work and vice versa must be identified too. Visitors. They may be exposed to some risk. Members of the public. This refers to all the other people who may be affected by the working activities. Evaluating the risk and deciding on precautions. The next step is to determine the risk posed by the hazard identified, and this is done determining the likelihood that a hazard will cause harm and consequence or impact or severity of that harm. In qualitative risk assessment, a risk matrix can be used to determine these parameters. After the risks have been evaluated, precaution to control the hazard to an acceptable level must be decided to. Evaluating the risk and deciding on the precaution. When deciding the precaution, the hierarchy of control must be considered. The hierarchy of control is as follows: elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls, personal protective equipment. Recording the findings. The finding of a risk assessment should be recorded to provide a written statement of the hazard in the workplace. The extent of the risk that, that they present and the action taken to control those risks. Some of the items that must be covered in the record are nature of the business activities or process, principal hazard identified, personal at risk or person at risk, related legal requirement, the consequences or impact of the significant risk, control measures, date of assessment, and the review or and the next date of review, name and comment of the assessor. Review and updating. Risk assessment must be reviewed on a regular basis. Situations that demand a review of risk assessment include significant change in work practices and processes, introduction of new machinery and equipment, change in control measures, change in legislation, reason to suspect that the risk assessment is not valid. The frequency of review is based on the level of risk associated with the activity in question. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, comment, like, and press the bell button for notifications on our new video uploads. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Abdulhamid Educates Hot, Safety Engineering and Technology. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, comment, like, and press the bell button for notifications on our new video uploads. Today, we are continuing with our lesson on health and safety planning and implementation, part 2. The preventive and protective measures. 1. All workplaces have hazards. In order to prevent injury and ill health at the workplace, the significant hazard must be identified, evaluated, managed, and controlled using appropriate methods. The widely used and acceptable methods for controlling hazards refers to us as the hierarchy of control are elimination, substitution, engineering controls, administrative controls, and PPE. Elimination. This involve this involves the physical removing of hazard from the workplace. Elimination provides the highest level of protection and is the most effective hazard control method, as the hazard will be permanently removed from the workplace. However, it is not always possible to eliminate hazard from the workplace. 2. Substitution. In this case, a particular hazard is replaced with another that creates less risk. Substitution is the next to elimination in terms of effectiveness. Sometimes hazard elimination cannot be achieved, but it is possible to substitute it with one that is relatively safer. Example, however, it's not always possible to eliminate hazards from the workplace. Thirdly, engineering controls. This involves the use of an engineering solution to prevent the worker from coming into contact with the hazards. This may be done by isolating the hazard source, separating workers from mobile equipment and plants, using safety and remote control device. Well-designed engineering controls are very reliable and highly effective in protecting workers. Fourthly, administrative controls. Administrative controls are workplace practices, procedures, training, warning signs, etc., that are used to minimize the exposure of workers to hazard and reduce the level of harm. They work by changing the behavior of people rather than removing the actual hazard. Administrative controls offer low level of protection and are less reliable since they require compliance from workers to be effective. Nonetheless, they are more effective than PPEs. Fifthly, engineering controls. This involves the use of engineering solutions to prevent the worker from coming into contact with the hazards. This may be done by isolating the hazard source, separating the worker from mobile equipment, using safety and remote control device. Well-designed engineering controls are very reliable and highly effective in protecting the workers. Personal protective equipment. PPE is an equipment that is worn or used by the worker to minimize the exposure of hazard that can cause injury and illness at the workplace. They include hand gloves, helmet, eye goggles, safety boots, and overalls. PPE offer the lowest level of protection against hazards. They are mostly used under the following conditions: when there are no other practical control measures available, as an interim or as an interim measure until a more effective control measure is introduced. To increase the effectiveness of higher level control measure, PPE are effective only as long as they are worn and used correctly. Now we are going to our next topic: a safe system of work. A safe system of work is a formal procedure which is based on a systematic examination of work in order to identify all the hazards. It defines safe method of working that eliminate those hazards or minimize the risks associated with them. Simply put, a safe system of work is documented procedure that explains do's and don'ts of a of a particular work or a task. Safe system of work are necessary whenever hazards cannot be physically eliminated and some element of risk remains. Safe system of work helps to ensure that work is completely with minimum risks. Example of work that requires a safe system of work are maintenance of maintenance of electrical and mechanical equipment, working in a confined spaces, working at height, lawn working, operating a heavy equipment such as an excavator or as an excavator. Responsibilities. Responsibilities when it comes to a safe system of work. One, management. To ensure that safe system of work or management is to ensure that safe system of work are available for all work activities that create the significant risk. To consult employees in the development process. To ensure that all persons who may be affected by the system of work are trained. Supervisors are trained in the effective implementation of the safe system of work. The safe system of work are periodically reviewed. Another responsibilities. Secondly, competent person safety or safety officials assist management to identify areas where safe system of work are needed. Assist management in the development, implementation, and review of system of work. Thirdly, employee involvement. Employees should take an effective part in all stages in the development and review of the safe system of work. The practical knowledge and skills of employees provide valuable information. It also helps them to gain deeper understanding of the hazard and risks and the way in which the safe system of work will minimize those risks. Key elements of safe system of work. In order for the safe system of work to be effective, it must consider the following elements: the work location, the physical layout and environment, plant, equipment and tool involved, materials and substances used, foreseeable hazards, sequence of sequence of operations, personal skills, experience and training needs, practical precautions, emergency procedures, monitoring system. Development of a safe system of work. The key steps for developing a safe system of work are as follows. One, assess the task analysis. And secondly, identify the hazard. Thirdly, define safe methods. Again, document the procedures. Fifthly, instruction and training. Sixthly, implement the system. Lastly, monitor the system. Task analysis. Select the task to be analyzed, break it down into steps and stages. Identify the Identify the hazard and evaluate the risk at each step. Define precautions or controls. Identify the hazards. People, process, materials, equipment, and tools. Working environment. Define safe method. Define simply but adequate procedures should be done by competent people. Involved employees. Their practical knowledge of problems can help reveal unusual risks and prevent any false assumptions. Document procedures. Safe system of work should be documented. The final document should be signed by relevant managers to indicate approval. Version numbers should be included so that it can quickly be verified that the most up-to-date version is in use. It should be written in non-technical style. Training and instructions. The safe system of work must be communicated properly and understood by the people who may be affected by the work or by them. Employees and supervisors must all be trained. Implementing the system. This involves the correct application of the safe system of work. Supervisors are responsible for the implementation. There is the need to avoid shortcuts. If an unexpected problem arises, work must be stopped until a solution is found. Monitoring. Periodic checking to ascertain if the system is being implemented fully. Employees continue to find the system workable. There are many changes in circumstances which will require alterations to the system. This topic is permit to work system. Permit to work system is a type of safe system of work ensuring the potential very dangerous work is done safely. The principle of the permit to work system is that certain operations are prohibited without the permission of a responsible manager. The authorizing manager must check that all the necessary precautions have been taken before authorization. The people doing the work are also responsible for the ensuring that the precautions set out in the permit are maintained throughout the work. Example of work controlled by a permit are hot work, work on live electrical system, entry into confined space, work at height. Essential element of a permit to work system. Issue. Plant location, description of the work to be carried out, date and time issued, and the period for which the permit is valid, hazard associated with the job, precaution necessary to control the risk, signature of the authorized person issuing the permit, receipt, signature of the person accepting the permit worker, clearance, signature of the competent person stating that the place has been made safe, cancellation, signature certifying that the work has been tested and plant or equipment can be restated or restarted. Principle for the permit to work. Whatever permits or whatever possible hazards should be eliminated so that the work can be done safely without requiring a permit to work. The overall responsibility for the safe operation of permit to work rests with the manager. The permit to work The permit to work when it falls supersedes all the other instructions. The permit to work applies to all workers including the contractors. Information provided on the permit must be detailed and accurate. A permit is still active until it is cancelled. No work other than the other specified on the permit is authorized. Responsibilities must be clearly defined as or at all stages. Our next topic is emergency procedures. Despite all the controls introduced into an organization, things can still go wrong. Organization therefore needs to develop procedures that can be set into motion when necessary to deal with serious and imminent danger to persons at work. Emergency procedures are concerned with the procedures and equipment required to limit the damage to people and property caused by an incident. In addition to integral arrangement for dealing with emergencies, an organization might establish links with local authorities and services to augment their efforts in the case of emergency. Potential emergency situations. These are gas explosion, electrical burns or electrocution, escape of toxic gases or fumes, discovery of dangerous dust in the atmosphere, large vehicle crashing into the premises, aircraft near a flight path, spread of highly infectious diseases, severe weather with high winds and flooding. Responsibilities when it comes to the emergencies. Site coordinator. The site coordinator coordinates all emergency arrangement. This person should be in a senior position. Departmental wardens or wardens. They initiate emergency procedures in the wardens. They initiate emergency procedures to make sure that by ensuring that everyone on the site can be alerted in an emergency. Everyone knows the signal for an emergency. Training is provided. Emergency routes are established and kept clear. There are there are arrangements for calling fire and rescue services. Access is provided for emergency services. Arrangement for treating and recovery injury or injured people are set up. Caution to be taken against emergencies. Emergency signals or alarm for alerting employees of an emergency. 2. Emergency escape route. They must have a clear gauge, be wide enough without obstructions, and well lit. 3. Emergency assembly point, treatment and recovery center. Fifth, fifthly, emergency shutdown procedures. Lastly, arrangement for calling in fire rescue and medical services. Our next topic is first aid or first aid at work. First aid is the immediate skilled care given to a victim of an illness or injury until professional medical treatment is available. Employers have a duty to provide adequate first aid service or services for their employees. In order to determine what needs to be provided, a first aid needs assessment must be undertaken. Things to consider in the needs assessment include hazards and risks inherent in the work, number of employees at work and work patterns, geographic location and spread of the workplace. First aid requirements. First aid facilities. These are appropriate locations where the first aid treatment can be given. Must be centrally located in an area that can be easily accessed. Must be clean, well ventilated and well lit. Must have a chair, hand wash facility and bin for disposing of medical waste. First aid equipment. First aid First aid facilities must be well stocked with first aid kits and equipment. These include first aid kits or boxes, stretchers, blankets, splits, dressings, res- dressings, and wheelchairs. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and press the bell button for notifications on our new video uploads. Thank you. Hello everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Abdulhamid Educates Health, Safety Engineering and Technology. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, comment, like, and press the bell button for notifications on our new video uploads. Today, our topic is health and safety policy. What is a health and safety policy? A health and safety policy can be explained as an occupational health and safety policy is a document that outlines an organization's approach and commitment, together with the arrangement put in place for managing health and safety at the workplace. The purpose of health and the purpose of the policy is to express the employer's commitment to occupational health and safety. There are some importance of setting a health and safety policy. These are: one, health and safety policy set forth management's intention and approach to addressing workplace and health and safety issues. And secondly, it clarifies the responsibilities of the employer, management, and employees in the management of health and safety. Thirdly, it provides a framework for decision making. Again, it ensures compliance with the law. Lastly, and it keeps management accountable. Features and content of health and safety policy. Health and safety policy is made up of three parts. These are the statement of intent, organization, arrangement. The statement of intent. The following points should contain the aims and objectives of the organization. It should be written in clear and simple language so that it is easily understandable. Thirdly, be fairly brief and broken down into series of smaller statements. Fourthly, be signed and dated by the most senior person in the organization. Fifthly, be written by the organization and not by external consultants. Sixthly, address the specific health and safety issues and hazards within the organization. Again, contain the health and safety performance and targets. Be posted on prominent notice board throughout the workplace and brought to the attention of all the employees. Lastly, be a permanent item on the agenda for health and safety committee meetings. Organization. Organization Organization of health and safety. This section of the policy defines the names, position, and duties of those within the organization or company who have the responsibility for health and safety. They include the following: directors and senior managers. Directors, is, directors and senior managers, they are the responsible for setting policy, objectives, and targets. Supervisors, they are responsible for checking day-to-day compliance with the policy. Organization of health and safety policy. Health and safety advisors. They are responsible for giving advice during accident investigations and on compliance issues. The specialists. Example: occupational nurse, chemical analyst, electrician, etc. They are responsible for giving specialist advice on a particular health and safety issues. Health and safety representative. They are responsible for representing employees during consultations, meetings on health and safety issues within their employer. Employees, they are responsible for taking reasonable care of health and safety themselves and others who may be affected by their acts or missions. Fire marshal or emergency officers, they are responsible for the safe evacuations of the building or facilities in an emergency. First aiders, first aiders, they are responsible for administering first aid to injured persons. Health and safety arrangements. This section of the policy gives details of the specific system and procedures used to assist in the implementation of the policy statement. They include safe operating procedures, accident and near-miss reporting and investigation, emergency procedures, permit to work procedures, log out and tag out procedures, the use of PPE or personal protective equipment, provision of welfare facilities, training procedures, consultation with workers, monitoring, inspection and audit procedures, review of health and safety policy. The health and safety policy should be monitored and reviewed on regular basis. The main reason for reviewing the policy are as follows: significant or significant organizational changes may have taken place. There may have been changes in key personnel. There may have been changes in legislation and or guidance. New work method may have been introduced. There may have been alterations to working arrangements and or processes. There may have been changes following consultation with employees. The monitoring of risk assessment or accident or incident investigations may indicate that the health and safety policy is no longer totally effective. Information from manufacturers, advice from an insurance company, findings from an external health and safety audit. Enforcement action has been taken by relevant authority. A sufficient period of time has been elapsed since the previous revision. Factors responsible for the failure of health and safety policy. These are the statements in the policy are not understood or properly communicated to the workforce. Secondly, inadequate resources for the implementation of the policy. Thirdly, too much emphasis on rules for employees and too little on management policy. Fourthly, lack of senior management involvement in health and safety. Fifthly, low morale as a result of employees' concern not being addressed and inadequate information on health and safety. Sixthly, high labor turnover. Lastly, unsafe and poorly maintained machinery and equipment. Again, a lack of health and safety monitoring system. Practical measures that must be taken in an organization. Plants and substances, emergencies, other hazards, communication, training, superv- supervision or supervising and keeping check, plants and substances, maintenance of equipment and tools, ladders, etc. Ensure that they are in good condition. Maintenance and proper of use of personal protective equipment. Maintenance and proper use of plants, machinery, and machine guards. Regular testing and maintenance of lifts, hoists, cranes, pressure systems, boilers, and other dangerous machinery. Maintenance of electrical installation and equipment. Safe storage, handling and transport of flammable and hazardous substances. Control of work involving harmful substances such as lead, asbestos, etc. Thorough examination, testing and consultation of workforce before introducing new plant, equipment and substances. Exposure to non-ionizing and ionizing radiation. Other hazards, noise problem, wiring of hearing protection and control of noise at source, vibration process, hand harm and whole body control techniques and personal protection, example, kidney belt, preventing unnecessary or unauthorized entry to hazardous areas, lifting of heavy or awkward loads, use mechanical lifting devices, protecting of employees against assault when handling or transporting the employer's money or valuables, provide adequate security, specific hazards to employees when working on unfamiliar sites, controlling or control of work transport, mobile equipment, for example, forklifts, by restricting use of experienced and authorized operators, driving on public roads while at work, emergencies, ensuring that fire exits are marked, unlocked and free from obstruction, maintenance and testing of firefighting equipment, fire drill and evacuation procedures, first aid including location and name of a person responsible for the first aid, location of first aid equipment, communication, giving employees information about the general duties under the relevant legislation, giving employees necessary information about substances, plants, machinery, and equipment they may come in contact with, discussing with contractors before they come on site, how they plan to their work, equipment needs to use hazard they may create and vice versa. Training employees, supervisors and managers to enable them work safely and to carry out their health and safety responsibilities efficiently. Supervising, supervising employees so far as necessary for their safety, especially new and young employees and employees carrying out unfamiliar tasks. Keeping check, regular inspections and check of workplace machinery, appliances, and working methods. Benefit for promoting health and safety performance. It will support the overall development of employees. It will improve communication and consultation throughout the organization. It will minimize financial losses due to accidents and ill health and other incidents. It will directly involve management in all levels of the organization. It will improve supervision. It will improve production processes. It will improve the public image of the organization. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, comment, like, and press the bell button for notifications on our new video uploads. Thank you. Eh, Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Abdulhamid Educate Health, Safety Engineering and Technology. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment, like, and press the bell button for notifications on our new video uploads. We are continuing with what we did the last time. Introduction. Following the drafting of a health and safety policy, an effective organization must be set up to implement and monitor its requirements. Organizations involve setting out clear roles and responsibilities for everyone in the organization. Roles and responsibilities of employer. 1. Ensure or the employer should ensure the health, safety and welfare of all his employees. Employer should ensure that other workers who might be working at the employer's workplace but are not his direct employees, example, the casual workers, intense contractors, etc., are protected from risks. Thirdly, the employer should ensure the health and safety of people who might be working at the employer's workplace but are not carrying out work for the employer's, example, visitors. The employer must ensure that the health and safety of people outside the workplace who might be affected by the or by the working activities, example, the roles and responsibilities of directors and senior managers. They are responsible for the setting up the right policy, objective, and targets. There are the right organizational structure with clear roles and responsibilities are in place. Thirdly, one or more competent or persons are appointed to assist the organization in meeting its health and safety policy or objective. Fourthly, adequate resources are allocated for the establishment, implementation, and maintenance of health and safety management system. Lastly, the health and safety performance is reviewed on a regular basis to ensure that the objectives are being achieved. The roles and responsibilities of the supervisors. All the relevant procedures and safe system of work are in place and are regularly maintained. Workers and contractors comply with all the health and safety standards and procedures. All safety equipment supplied and well maintained. Identify the training needs of employees and arrange their training. The necessary records are maintained, all accidents are investigated, and the preventive measures recommended are implemented. Roles and responsibilities of a health and safety advisor or a specialist. Provide advice and guidance on health and safety standards. They promote a positive health and safety culture.
They advise management on accident prevention, oversee the development of risk assessment. They monitor health and safety performance, oversee and accident reporting. Roles and responsibilities of health and safety advisors or specialists. Provide advice and guidance on health and safety standards. Promote a positive health and safety culture. They advise the management on accident prevention, oversee the development of risk assessment. They monitor health and safety performance and oversee the accident reporting and investigation. Responsibilities of employees. They take the reasonable care of their health and safety and that of other people affected by the, who might be affected by their acts or omissions. They cooperate with the company in meeting its legal duties. They are familiar with all safety and emergency procedures applicable to the area in which they are working. They report all accidents, dangerous occurrences, and near misses to the supervisor. The concept and significance of health and safety culture. The safety culture of an organization is the way all the people within the organization think and feel about health and safety and how it translates into behavior. By definition, a safety culture is a set of practices, ways of doing, and mindset, way of thinking that is widely shared by members of an organization when it comes to the management of health and safety. An effective health and safety culture ensures that all organizational members, regardless of their roles, are working together for better health and safety outcomes. Important component or essential element of health and safety culture. One, leadership commitment through all levels of organization. Acceptance belief that high standards of health and safety are achievable. A detailed assessment of risk assessment in the organization together with the corresponding controls, measures, and monitoring system. Health and safety policy statement outlining short or long-term objectives. Relevant employee training, communication and consultation procedures. System for monitoring equipment, processes and procedures, and the prompt rectification of defects. Prompt investigation of all incidents and accidents and report detailing any necessary remedial actions. Relationship between safety culture and performance. An organization health and safety culture directly impacts on health and safety performance in the organization. Where there is a strong where there is a strong safety culture, people work safely result or people work safely, resulting few cases of accident and occupational ill health. Where there is a strong safety culture, people work safely, resulting in few cases of accident and occupational ill health. Indicated of poor health and safety culture, high incident rate, high rate of sickness and absenteeism, blame culture, high staff turnover, lack of resources, lack of compliance with safety rules, poor contractors selection and management, poor communication, cooperation and control of or and control of workforce, weak health and safety management structure, low levels of health and safety competence, high insurance premium. Factors affecting health and safety culture. One, top management commitment. The commitment from top management produces higher level of motivation and concern for health and safety issues throughout the organization. Management must visibly demonstrate their commitment by actions. Example, stopping production to resolve safety issues. Secondly, changes in structure and in secondly, changes in structure and in the market conditions. Frequent or poorly communicating or frequent or poorly communicated changes in structure may produce feelings of uncertainty among the workforce, which in turn may affect the health and safety culture. Similarly, similarly changes in the economic climate or market condition may result in difficult operation conditions, or similar changes in the economic climate may result in difficult condition in the operation. Similar changes in the economic climate or market conditions may result in difficult operating conditions. Thirdly, poor supervision, training, and inadequate health and safety information. An important role played by supervision, employee training, and communication is the creation of awareness on health and safety issues. Where these things are lacking, the safety culture is affected. Fourthly, degree of employee consultation. Employee consultation and involvement of the workforce in safety matters is crucial for health and safety culture. Regular engagement employees results in trust and worship. Internal influences on health and safety culture. Management commitment, competence of staff, production or service demands, communications, employee consultation. External influences on health and safety culture. Economics, commercial stakeholders, insurance companies, legislation, trade unions, society. Factors which influence behavior at work or at the workplace. How an individual behaves at the workplace is very critical to health and safety management. Poor safety related behavior at the workplace may lead to accidents. Three significant factors that influence an individual worker's behavior. Human factors are organizational factors, job factors, and individual factors. Organizational factors. These are the characteristics of the organization that influence the worker or the worker's behavior. They include safety culture of the organization, commitment, organizational factors. These are the characteristics of the organization that influence the worker's behavior. They include safety culture of the organization, commitment and leadership from management, resources, working patterns, communication systems, level of supervision, consultation and worker involvement and training, job factors. These are the various characteristics of the worker's job that influence their behavior at the work. They include the task nature, workload, environment, disciplines and controls, procedures. Individual factors. These are the individual or personal characteristics of the worker that influence their safety related behavior. They include attitude, motivation, perception of risk, competence, skills, condition of health, age, or experience. Individual factors. These are the individual or personal characteristics of the worker that influence their safety related behavior. They include attitude, motivation, perception of risk, competence, skills, condition of health, age, or experience. Human error, unintentional deviation from an accepted standard, slip, lapses, mistakes, violation, deliberate deviation from an accepted or violation or deliberate deviations from an accepted standard, routine violation, situational violation, exceptional violation. How to improve health and safety culture, management commitment, competent staff, effective communication, employee consultation, and training. Health and safety training. The provision of training is essential for the management of health and safety at the workplace. When employees are trained, they become aware of hazards and risks associated with their jobs and the control measures put in place to mitigate these hazards. Training also helps the employees to understand the safety rules or procedures that apply to their work and consequences of breaking the rules. Benefit of training to an organization: improvement in safety culture, reduction in accidents, reduction in injury and occupational health related absenteeism, reduction in compensation claim, improved staff morale and retention, training opportunities. The, circumstance, the circumstances that necessitate training include new employees, job changes or transfer, introduction of new equipment or technology, new system of work, new legislation or standard, specialist skills required following an accident after risk assessment change. Types of training. The type of training include induction. This type of training allows the worker to obtain knowledge about the organization and ensures that critical information is delivered and understood. Example, example new employees induction. Example, new employee induction. Job specific training. This type of training equips the worker with the knowledge and skills to enable him carry out the job in a safe manner. Example, electrical maintenance training, supervisory training, and management training. This type of training equips the supervisor and the managers with the knowledge and skills to efficiently lead the workforce to achieve their targets in a safe manner. Specialist training. This type of training equips the worker to be competent in performing specialist training. This type of training equips the worker to become competent in performing a particular task.
Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Samuel Apoli. Today we'll be looking at 0 reasons why the job cannot be done safely. But before we talk about this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like, comment, and share so that we can keep posting you more videos on safety related issues so that we can improve on our workplace on terms of safety. Okay, so as I said earlier, today we are looking at 0 reasons why the job cannot be done safely. Employees sometimes find numerous reasons why the job cannot be done safely. But then we are encouraging all our employees or our listeners to find numerous reasons why the job should be done in a safely manner and also beneficial to the employees, the clients, and all, as well as the employees that works within the environment. One, there are numerous reasons, as I said, and if we keep uh, giving reasons why the job cannot be done, then we cannot do the job as we want it. Rather, we should find thousands of reasons why we can do the job and do it safely. Second, people want to work so that it will please them. They want to work in a way that pleases them, and that is some of the ways that employees want. So, if we can allow them to do that, it means they'll put themselves and then their equipment or their weapon is in danger. And also, they want to work in a manner that will favor them so that they may not delay time factor. They also want to buy time so that they can equally meet production. But let's all remember that safety cannot be compared to production. Product safety first, then production follows. Let's all work, find reasons why we can do the job in a safer and a better manner, which will be beneficial than to give reasons why the job cannot be done safely. Tell your friend to tell a friend that we all need to work in a safe manner so that we can go back and support our families, because it's a family that is first. It's a family that is you are working. If you are not working today, your family will go into numerous hardship and they will face a lot of challenges. You are the one to make a difference. Thank you. Bye bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Abdul Hamid Abu. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Abdul Hamid Educates Health, Safety Engineering and Technology. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel, comment, like, and press the bell button for our notifications on our new video uploads. Thank you.